The HWP, which is the Hardy-Weinberg principle, allows for genotypes to be calculated from large mating populations, and it calculates the proportions. So for the first one, it gives us that a percentage of homologous recessive is 36%, and it asks you the frequency of AA, which is homologous recessive, which actually gives it to you in the question itself. So it's 36% or 0.36 converted to decimal. One thing I forgot to mention before is that the Hardy-Weinberg principle gives you two formulas before even starting. The P plus Q equals 1. P is for dominant, Q is for recessive. It equals to 1 or 100%, which is the total amount of offspring in the population. And also P squared plus 2PQ plus Q squared. This gives you homologous dominant, heterozygous, and then homologous recessive. And it also equals to 1. So back to the question, A, the frequency of homologous recessive is actually 0.36. The frequency of just A, the genotype A, which is recessive, is you're going to go into the formula, this formula, Q squared, and you're going to plug in this, which is 0.36, and you're going to take the square root of that in order to take off the square, and it's going to equal 0.60. Okay, next question. You're going to use this formula, which is the P plus Q equals 1, and then you're going to plug in what A equals in order to get P, which P is a dominant. Okay, so you're going to use 0.60. And then to find P, you need to subtract 0.60 by 1, so P is going to equal 0.40. That's for the frequency of A. So the frequency of A is 0.40. Okay, so when it's asking for the frequency of a homologous dominant and heterozygous recessive, heterozygous dominant, you're going to use P squared and 2PQ. For P squared, you're going to plug in what the P equals, which is 0.60. You're going to square it, and it's going to equal 0.16. And for the heterozygous, you're going to use 2PQ, which is going to be 2 times 0.60 times 0.40. So you go 0.48. Now for the last question, it asks you what's the two possible phenotype frequencies. For phenotype, it's either dominant or recessive, and in order to find that, you have to add the heterozygous and the homozygous dominant and the recessive. The recessive is already given to you in the question, which is 0.36, and the dominant, what you have to do is you have to add 0.16 plus 0.48, which is going to equal 0.64.